Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my new or updated patrons, Alexandra, Hamish K, Thana Toforic, and Brian over at My Tesla Weekend. Thank you guys for choosing to support the channel. If you guys haven't checked out Brian's channel, it'll be linked below. Not only does he do some really awesome deep dives on Tesla topics, but we've talked a lot offline and he's the absolute man. Today, Elon spoke at the Offshore Northern Seas Foundation conference over in Norway. I would play some clips for you, but I'm very confident the video would get a copyright strike, so we'll just go over what he said. I'm not sure why so many people are surprised by this. Many times in the past, Elon has talked about we still have a need for oil and gas. Our civilization would collapse without it right now. It's going to take decades to transition to sustainable energy. That's obviously the goal, but in the interim, on the way there, we still need oil and gas. This video will be linked below as well. It was Elon talking to some reporters either before or after the conference, in which he did indeed say he thinks exploration for oil and gas should actually continue for now. On that point, Elon also said at this time we actually need more oil and gas, not less, and that he's not one to demonize fossil fuels, but at the same time, we must have a clear path to a sustainable energy future. When it comes to the FSD beta wide release, I'm still confused what Elon is referring to and what he means. Drive Tesla Canada reporting that from this conference Elon spoke at, he said his goal is to have the FSD beta in wide release at least in the United States by the end of this year. Elon also gave hope to Tesla owners in Europe, saying it could be released there before the end of the year as well. But we also had this tweet from Elon just last night. He said the first few days just 1,000 owners, but going to 10,000 if no major issues. Note 10.69.2, hopefully going out the week after this, is the wide release beta. My guess at this point, what Elon's referring to here is the wide release, meaning it's going to the rest of the FSD beta testers around that 100,000 number, and that by the end of the year, it should be going to everybody in the United States, anyone that wants it. Let me know what you think though, because Elon's definitely making it complicated. No news here, but also before the end of this year, Elon is still looking to announce the next Gigafactory. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be robo-taxis all over the roads by the end of this year, of course. However, once Tesla's FSD goes to a real wide release, meaning to anyone in the United States who has paid for the software and wants to have it, I think that's going to be a huge inflection point to have that many people actually using this software and learning what it's really about. It feels like a huge step forward toward ultimate autonomy. Tesla released some new images of the interior of the Semi, and I just want to zoom in and show you a few things. The screen on the left at the bottom shows us the tire pressure, both primary and secondary, and indicators for trailer air supply and the parking brake. The screen on the right has navigation and some of the regular, more recognizable Tesla UI controls down at the bottom. Before we touch on this tax credit that has indeed gone overlooked, this $35 per kilowatt hour for each United States battery cell produced, I just want to highlight the IRS still has to figure out exactly how these credits will work. I was going to do more of a deep dive in kind of what this would look like for Tesla's bottom line, but until we have some more clarity, probably closer to next year, I think we should be careful with those calculations. Bradford Ferguson and Jordan at The Limiting Factor did a video on this. It'll be linked below if you want to check it out. This was part of the Inflation Reduction Act, the Advanced Manufacturing Production Credit. This is a big reason why over the last few weeks we've seen so many battery makers, LG Chem, Panasonic, SK, CATL, all looking to build battery cell manufacturing plants here in the United States. Once again, hesitant to share numbers because of the detail that needs to be worked out. However, just a hypothetical possibility, Panasonic's around 35 gigawatt hour factory in Nevada, it might be closer to 40 now, could net Panasonic around $1 billion every year, but there's also a $10 per kilowatt hour tax credit for battery module manufacturing, which is where Tesla's bottom line could be impacted, at least when referring to Giga Nevada. There, Tesla gets $10 per kilowatt hour for assembling the batteries into the packs, so at 35 gigawatt hours per year, this means Tesla would gain around $350 million per year from the work it's already doing at Giga Nevada. If when Tesla hits 100 gigawatt hours per year at Giga Texas, where it will be the battery manufacturer, that could mean somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.5 billion annually for Tesla's bottom line. That said, in the future, there are strict requirements to actually get this tax credit as well. This one in particular excludes from 2024 on any components contained in the battery to be manufactured from a foreign entity of concern, namely China, which really dominates the processing market right now. So Bradford, great job shedding some light on this. Having said all that, I don't think it's any surprise that today we get this news: Honda and LG now planning a $4 billion battery factory in the United States, potentially in Ohio. Construction of the factory should start early next year and mass production by the end of 2025. The plant is aiming for 40 gigawatt hours of annual capacity. The batteries will be used exclusively for Honda and Acura EVs produced in North America.
The biggest benefit isn't actually the EV consumer credits. It's the $35 per kilowatt hour support for battery production in the country. So kind of we're bringing the battery production. We could easily have done that in Mexico or some other place, and now there's a huge financial incentive, like doing the math between a battery plant in Mexico or overseas, and now in the US, completely flipped with this bill. It's a big deal.
This next bit is unrelated, but also important.
You split the company into two operating units, Ford Model E and Ford Blue Oval, I believe, for the traditional cars.
Yes.
How is that going, that transition?
It's going well. I have no idea why other people wouldn't do it, because but there's gonna be a big moment in like 3 or 4 months when we separate the financials. We're gonna actually report how much money we make in both.
Right.
And that's gonna be a really big moment of transparency.
So clearly, this is absolutely a very big deal and a huge reason why we're seeing this flood of new battery manufacturing come to the United States, which is awesome. You love to see it. However, remember, there's still some uncertainty as to how these tax credits will be divvied up between all of these partnerships for these new battery factories. Two quick notes from Pierre Ferragu and Emmanuel Rosner coming out of their Giga Berlin factory tours. Pierre said he was stunned by the quality of the Model Y and that it was equivalent to that of German luxury cars, saying the quality of the upholstery and the overall finish is far superior, flawless. Not only that, but Tesla clearly has much more experience with this Berlin factory, so the manufacturing efficiencies are that much better. In terms of the rest of the detail and some of these things being reported, just remember you have to be careful with these. This says, according to Ferragu, Giga Berlin currently only produces black and white versions of the Model Y Performance. However, as far as we know, that's not true, as in July we saw the first customer delivery of a long-range vehicle coming from Giga Berlin that was indeed confirmed with the VIN. I guess it's possible that after some of these upgrades at Giga Berlin, they went back to only producing performance variants. However, I would not believe that to be the case. I do think they're still producing long-range variants from Giga Berlin. If you have any more intel, let us know below. For those that want to know, Pierre's latest Tesla price target, $530 per share. Emmanuel Rosner also had some rose-colored glasses on after his trip as well. He said, "We came away with a sense that Tesla's new localized vehicle production in Europe could be a game changer, making Tesla to an even more formidable competitor in the region, while likely boosting the company's gross margins." And mentioning that tax credit, he said, "We believe 2023 could be a pivotal year for Tesla and continue to view it as one of the most attractive stories in the auto sector." And lastly, he said they've done an incredible job pricing up for some of the raw materials pressure, so we think margins could actually look good going forward. Just in case you didn't know, there's always that amenity icon while you're at a supercharger to find restaurants, stores, and coffee shops nearby. This right here is one of the better suggestions I've seen in recent memory, and of course, a very popular thread over on Reddit. Do you agree? This picture of the Cybertruck prototype popped up over the weekend, clearly doing some testing with cameras, potentially some radar and LiDAR, maybe just to validate Tesla's vision-only system as it prepares for the final production version of the Cybertruck. And what I just said about Tesla testing and validating those things for Tesla's vision system, that's not at all confirmed, just my speculation based on what seems likely from this photo. This news was coming from Calkin Media, but the website formatting was terrible, so I just took a screenshot. But both companies, Tesla and Core Lithium, based out of Australia, that's very important, have mutually agreed to extend this offtake term sheet until October 26th of this year, so they can finalize the final terms of this deal. This is for lithium, 110,000 dry metric tons of spodumene concentrate over a 4-year period, and this is coming from Core's Finniss lithium project. Once again, very important, but there's also this at the end that's going overlooked. Tesla will also support Core in development of lithium chemical processing capacity. So it sounds like more of a partnership and Tesla looking to work in the refining aspect of this deal. Here you have it. Core Lithium, the Finniss project, is in Australia, which is important because this is a country that Tesla does have a free trade agreement with. From Tobias Lind on Twitter, Giga Berlin finally gets the Tesla logo. So looking pretty sharp. When it comes to FSD beta strike resets, Elon said hopefully this week. If you're not familiar, Tesla has a strike system if you're not paying attention using that in-car cabin camera. So if you're on your phone or looking away for too long, you can get a strike. I believe Tesla upped the number to 5. Meaning once you get 5 strikes, you would then lose access to the FSD beta until a strike reset, which once again, hopefully coming this week. Joe Tetmeyer shared some new pictures of Giga Texas on Twitter. I'll show you in a second, but he corrected himself saying these could be 4680 packs. This was the image he was referring to. This is the 3rd floor at Giga Texas, and if we zoom in, you see pallets and stacks of these battery packs. He said they could be 4680, but of course, they could also be 2170 packs. Either way, it's fun to see. Over the weekend, Tesla Japan shared this video of yet another virtual power plant system over in Japan. This one so far reportedly has around 300 homes. And notice this theme over the last few weeks. These VPPs are popping up at a more frequent rate. Auto News is reporting that Ford may have a new electric truck coming out that is not an F-150 Lightning. Jim Farley said the Blue Oval City Assembly Plant in Tennessee will build next-gen electric F-Series pickups. He went further though, saying the new plant will build another truck that's not a redesigned Lightning. The vehicle will go on sale in 2025. Potentially, this one could be marketed more toward retail buyers, while the traditional Lightning made in Michigan would be focused on commercial sales. So I haven't yet had a chance to dive in and do some research on what's going on with this topic right now, but apparently the price of electricity in France has skyrocketed as of late. We're talking in the neighborhood of a 24x over the regular rates. This, of course, would make supercharging and charging EVs in general a lot more expensive. For now, just something to watch, and let us know if you have any extra intel on this situation. That news right there kind of shows us why this is so crucial moving forward. The US, France, and a handful of other countries are planning to keep dozens of nuclear reactors running decades after their original operating licenses expire. Not only that, but France is proposing to build up to 14 new large reactors in the coming decades. Here's a fun video that was of course sped up of the first Model Ys landing for Japanese customers. It looks like the first Rivian R1S deliveries for customers have taken place. To date, it's just been for employees. This coming from a member of the Rivian forums in Pennsylvania. I'll send you guys off today with a clip of Mary Barra kind of backing off some of her leadership comments.
You were confident enough in January to throw down the gauntlet and say, by 2025, we are going to take over Tesla. We are going to beat them at their game and overtake the #1 position when it comes to EV production. Does that still stand?
We believe absolutely with the portfolio of electric vehicles that we have coming out with different forms, whether it's a truck, whether it's a small crossover, large crossover, the strength of our brands, and then our ability from a manufacturing perspective. We've said that by 2025 we'll have 1 million units in North America alone.
That'll do it for today. Please like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.